Yo, just wait on some people to tap in real quick. Yo, it's your boy D's Media back again with another video. Today we're gonna talk about Wallo and Gilly the Kid just did an interview with Shaquille O'Neal podcast. And one of the things that Wallo was talking about, man, that touched me, man, was he was saying that, Wallo and Gilly was running themselves into a brick wall trying to talk to Gilly's son Cheese. And he was pretty much saying that, he was on Cheese so much that he was so hurt when he lost his life, how much he was on him. Let's jump straight into it. All right, Gilly the Kid's son, Y&G Cheese, was reportedly died after being shot and killed in a triple shooting in Philadelphia Thursday night. Reportedly, he was 25 years old. The shooting took place on 5800 block of Masser Street in Oli neighborhood around 8:24 p.m. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. The triple shooting left Cheese dead from a single shot to the back and two other injured. Reportedly, 28-year-old and 31-year-old man were also wounded and taken to the hospital where they were in stable condition. According to the media outlets, shell casings were found at the scene, but no weapon was recovered. Also, there was no arrest has been made. Gilly the Kid and Rollo shouted them out. All right, but yeah, that's all that they got. They still haven't found the shooter, for Gilly the Kid's son. But the thing that I want to talk about today is a lot of people got questions like, what was Gilly the Kid's son doing in a rough part of Philadelphia? And his dad and his uncle got the biggest podcast out right now. They making all these millions of dollars. They just signed this big deal with Barstool. What was Gilly the Kid's son doing in the hood? I'm gonna jump straight into it. Now, I'm a parent of two. One thing you can't do, you could raise your kids to be grown. You could teach them life lessons. It's up to them to apply those life lessons and those keys to life that you instilled in them since a kid to where they at now. When your child walk out the door, you cannot protect them no more. Only thing that you could do is pray that everything that you taught them and experiences that they've been through in life will guide them through the day and make it to the point that they can make it back home. The fact that Rollo did 25 years, it's no stranger that Gillie used to be in Philly robbing people, this is the stuff that they talk about. The fact that Cheese wasn't trying to listen to his dad and to his uncle that just served 25 years, and his dad and his uncle was robbers back in the day. So it's nothing in the streets that Gillie and Rollo ain't been through. They done been through getting shot, going to prison, robbing people, and we all know what come with after that. But the fact that Rollo and Gilly would stand on Cheese so much because they didn't want him to slip and go into the streets, that's what a lot of people don't talk about. See, a lot of people, they gonna blame Gilly like, yo, Gilly, you was a bad father. There's no way, you stand in Jersey in a $5 million mansion, but your son is in Philadelphia in the worstest part of Philadelphia. The thing is that he can't keep Cheese in his New Jersey mansion. Cheese felt like he tired of living off Gilly the Kid name. Cheese felt like everything that I got or everything that I accomplished, I feel like my dad got it for me or my uncle got it for me. Cheese wanted to make his own name. He wanted to make his own name in the music industry. He wanted to make his own name in the streets of Philadelphia. So yeah, that caused him to rebel and rebundle. I mean, excuse me if I said the last word wrong, but it makes sense now. Cheese wasn't trying to get all his accomplishments, and the first thing somebody say is, "Oh, you only made it because of your dad. Or you only did this because of your uncle. Or you only did this because of that." You get what I'm saying? And you got to think, this is a 25-year-old man from the streets of Philadelphia. How else is he gonna make it in life if he ain't following up behind his dads and them? He gonna get it by any means. And I'm not sitting there saying that Cheese was in the streets or whatever, but Cheese was hanging around street dudes. He was in a he was killed in a drug infested area. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna sit here and say that Cheese was the biggest street dude in Philly, but he put himself in a situation that he did not have to be. He didn't have to hang around those dudes. He didn't have to be in that area. But because he wanted to do stuff his way and he wanted to make it on his own, it clouded his judgment and it put him in situations like that made him lose his life. Because at the end of the day, one thing you should never be ashamed of is your parents and your family name. If Gilly would have been my dad and Rollo would have been my uncle, I'm using them to get through any door in life that I can. If I want to do this and they got connections, I'm gonna use their connection. If I need this, I'm gonna hit Unc up. If I need this, hey yo dad, jump on this song and say this. Hey yo dad, interview me real quick, cause you got the biggest podcast in the world. Interview me real quick, man, and let me take off as an artist. Cheese should have never been ashamed because Gilly and Rollo was his relative. That's part of your family name. It's like, don't take half of it and then don't want the whole full part of it. Don't want the designer clothes, the shoes, the money, never have to worry about nothing as a kid. But when you get older, you want to branch away from your dad's name and his legacy. It got you through 25 years of life. Imagine how many clothes, shoes, school, cars, everything Gilly done paid for his son. But when you get older, you say, nah, dad, I want to get it my own way. I don't really want to keep using you know what I'm saying? I can respect it, but it's like you almost embarrassed that that's your dad. You should be proud that your dad is got one of the biggest podcasts in the world. You should be proud that your uncle then came home and ran it up and made millions, and every entertainer and every business wanna get next to him and pull his brain. You know what I'm saying? You should be proud of that. So I felt like if Cheese would have just accepted his situation and used the help that he had and the connections that he had, he would have never had to take the route that he had to take. You get what I'm saying? He would have never had to been no underground artist coming out of Philadelphia. He wouldn't have had to been putting himself around certain dudes in certain areas. He wouldn't have had to. But because he wanted to get it on his own, it clouded his judgment. And I feel like that's the reason why he lost his life. I don't feel like Cheese was no street dude. I don't feel like Cheese was the type of person that was putting in work and everything. I felt like, honestly, he was trying to figure it out on his own. And I felt like Gilly and Rollo respected that and they let him do his own thing. Because anybody in their right mind would have told him, bro, it ain't worth being in Philadelphia, bro. You got too much to lose. You know, you got a name, you buzzing, your dad and your uncle already then came from up under this. They living in Jersey, man. It's like he went backwards by trying to do it his own way. And I felt like that's what caused him to lose his life because he wanted to do it on his own. He surrounded himself with people that he thought that can help him get to that next level, which was street dudes, all it is. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, anytime you sitting in the car and they trying to X out everybody in the car, that's personal, bro. That's not no, oh, you just, you stepped on my shoe or, oh, you took my girlfriend. That's personal. When you try to execute everybody in the car and make sure that there's no one surviving, that's a real personal issue. And I don't feel like it was Cheese that had the issue. I felt like the guys that he was with had some real smoke going on in the streets of Philadelphia, and I felt like they caught them lacking. And the person that got caught up in the fire, I felt like was Cheese. I don't feel like Cheese had that type of enemies and that type of hatred in Philadelphia. You know, his dad and uncle is love. Like he's love. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was the people that he was with that had ongoing beef in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like they got caught slipping, and Cheese just got caught up in the middle of it. You know, and it's sad that he lost his life, but sometimes, man, in life, you got to move yourself from certain situations just to make sure everything's going to be all right. And they say, well, these minutes, what you mean by that? All right. Why hang out in the hood? If you know you're going to hang out in the hood and it's a chance you could lose your life or get shot or get robbed or this, and this, why put yourself in that situation? In life, for the teens and older people, in order to survive out here, man, you got to think twice and act once. You know what I'm saying? If you think something bad may happen, don't go. Don't go. Why chance it? That's part of being an adult, is realizing like that ain't even worth it. If I think this might go down, I ain't even about to go over there. That's all Cheese had to have that type of mindset was like, nah, I ain't about to kick it over there. We ain't about to do all that. We didn't came too far. But it's the dudes he around. You know, he hanging with street dudes. He hanging with, real, you know what I'm saying? So you gonna get what come with that. It's like when your parents used to tell you, you are what you surround yourself with. So if Cheese wanted to be a successful rapper and take care of his family, he shouldn't have been surrounding himself with drug dealers, killers, and all of that. And don't get me wrong, man, you can't help your family. You can't help that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not blaming Cheese. I just felt like his uncle and his dad was trying to save his life, and he should have opened his eyes and listened to him, man, because there's nowhere in the world my uncle did 25 years and my dad was a robber and a crazy dude running around Philly and I'm taking advice from somebody else. The people in your face been through it all, but I get it. I was rebellious against my parents. When they tried to tell me certain things that I realize now what they were saying, I wasn't trying to listen. So I can understand, Gillie and Wallo was running through a brick wall trying to talk to Cheese, because at the end of the day, he 25, he lit, he popping, his city know him, Gillie is dad, Wallo is dad, so he ain't broke or hurt for money, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he was living his best life. He just surrounded himself with some people that I felt like was the downfall of him. I felt like you got to surround yourself with who you want to be. If you want to be in the NBA, surround yourself around NBA players. Don't want to be in the NBA, but surround yourself around bums and broke people. You get what I'm saying? You are what you hang around. A bullet don't got no name. Mistaken identity, it happens. Wrong place, wrong time, it happens. You know, you don't know what your homie did earlier that day. You don't know what your partner did last week. You don't know what he did, but yet he come around you, you kick it, you chilling there with him, and boom, stuff just go off like that. And you think when somebody firing off shots, they gonna say, "Oh, don't hit Cheese. He ain't got nothing to do with it." No, Cheese, you with him, you gonna get it too. That's the way the streets work. That's why if you ain't prepared for what come with it, you might as well not step in it. Because ain't nobody gonna hold your hand in the streets and ain't nobody gonna feel bad for you in the streets. But at times we gonna run across cases like this to where you be like, he didn't have to be in the streets. Or he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what make Cheese situation so sad and so eye-opening for the kids out there that could really learn from this situation. You know, don't put yourself in a situation that you don't have to be. Don't surround yourself in an area that you don't have to be. If you know it's a chance that something may go down or something may go left, don't go. Don't put yourself in an area that you feel like you can't control. Don't feel like you got to do it on your own when you got help and connections. You get what I'm saying? And that's where I feel like Cheese messed up at. But rest in peace to Cheese. My condolences go out to his family. I hope I didn't offend none of his family, friends, or loved ones with this video. I was just trying to put some knowledge on the youngsters out there just to let them know that, this can happen to anybody. People think that Gillie failed as a parent. People think that Gillie wasn't handling his business or doing the right thing when it came to his son. But at the end of the day, you can't control your kids. You can only raise them and hope that the tools and the knowledge that you gave them to succeed in the world, that they actually apply it and use it when they walk out the door. But I got to give Gillie his credit because Rollo said it out his mouth. We was talking to Cheese every day till we was blue in the face. We kept telling him, don't do this, don't do that. But he didn't want to listen to us. He thought we was some goofies. He don't know that we really was about that because that's his dad and his uncle. You don't want to hear that. You feel like they preaching to you. So you might want to hear it from a dude in the street. But it's them dudes that was in front of you that your dad and your uncle, when they was trying to school you, they been through that. They done been shot. They've been robbing. They done did 25 years in prison. So it's like, why would you want to leave out your house to get some advice about being a man and about the streets when your uncle and your dad done been through it? You know? So it's like I see so many people out there, they trying to get people to talk to their kids and straighten their kids out. You can't talk to your kids. You can't apply certain things to your kids' life. I would never get somebody else to talk to my kids about staying out of trouble or doing this or doing that. I done been through it. If you want to hear from anybody, hear from me, you know? But then again, that's the way life works. It's your boy D's Media signing out. Peace, positivity, network growth. I send my condolences out to Cheese and his family. Send it out to Rollo, Gillie, all of that. you know, because I know this is a tough time. You know, even though, you know, his son lost his life months ago, you know, I just wanted to make this video for the kids out there, man. And hopefully I touched a couple kids or teens, even an adult, man. And you changed your life or you changed your way of thinking, my job is done.